Once you turn 70, have you ever thought that the things you normally do might be putting your life at risk? Even if there are no obvious signs of illness, getting older makes it more likely that you will have certain health problems. A lot of people think of sudden death as just a sad and unexpected event. Unfortunately, though, there are some things that make emergencies that could be fatal much more likely. What's the worst thing? Most of them are easy to forget until it's too late. This video shows 5 things that could happen to adults over the age of 70 that could cause them to die suddenly. These health problems don't just happen. They sneak up on people and kill them. Any one of these risk factors, from silent heart conditions to daily habits that don't seem dangerous, could lead to terrible results if nothing is done. Good thing you can take steps to lower your risk once you know who they are. These 5 things will tell you the difference between a long, healthy golden age and a health crisis that you can avoid. You'll know what dangers are around every corner and how to avoid them by the end as well. If you don't already, subscribe and hit the bell button before we start. That way you won't miss a video. Is this video something you like? Please leave a comment if so. You can type 0 in the comments to let me know you don't like it. It will help me make videos for you that are better. We can begin now. A heart attack in a Siamese cat is the worst. A heart attack that you don't notice is one of the worst things that can happen to your health after age 70. It might not always be easy to spot a silent heart attack, unlike in dramatic movie scenes where the victim falls and clutches their chest. Many people think they are just indigestion, tiredness, or a mild flu because they come on slowly. The problem is that many people never go to the doctor because their symptoms are so mild. People might not notice the damage to their heart until it's too late. Imagine a man named Richard who, even though he is 74 years old, still likes to play golf and go for morning walks. He was tired, a little short of breath, and having some minor pain in his upper back not long ago. He said it wasn't true because he hadn't slept well. Richard didn't know it, but he had just had a silent heart attack. He didn't think it was important because he wasn't having the severe chest pain that comes with a heart attack. A few weeks later, though, his heart had taken a big beating, which made it more likely that he would have a sudden cardiac arrest. If the heart doesn't get enough blood, it can have a silent heart attack, which doesn't show any symptoms right away. People who aren't used to sharp pain might feel aches and pains in their jaw, neck, or even upper stomach. You might pass out, be very tired, or feel sick. For some, it could be stress, pain in the muscles, or heartburn. There is still not enough oxygen getting to your heart, even if you don't feel much pain. In the long run, this could be bad. If there is a second worse heart attack, the risk becomes life-threatening. If you've already been through one silent attack, your chances of surviving another are very low. Some people don't know they've had a heart attack until they go in for a regular checkup, or even worse, when they pass out. That's why it's important to be aware. If you feel tired, have trouble breathing, or have pain in your upper body that you can't explain, you should see a doctor right away. Electrocardiograms, ECGs, and blood tests are easy ways to find heart damage that hasn't been seen yet. It is important to be aware of the warning signs, even if they don't seem important at the moment. They might be life or death important. Second, low blood pressure in the legs and falls. A sudden drop in blood pressure when you stand up might not seem like a big deal, but if you are over 70, it can kill you. Postural hypotension is the name of the condition that makes people feel dizzy, lightheaded, or even faint. Younger people may not mind a short bout of dizziness as much as older people do. For older people, it's one of the main reasons they fall and hurt themselves. Falls can kill you by breaking your hip or causing a head injury. Why is this so scary? Because most people don't realize it's a problem until they've already fallen. Take George, a 78-year-old man who still likes going to the local diner for coffee in the morning. He jumped out of his chair too quickly one afternoon and felt the room spin. He put out his hand to steady himself, but he fell to the floor before he knew it. He fractured his hip in the fall, and while he thought recovery would be easy, things got harder. He was in the hospital for weeks fighting infections. What began as a simple dizziness turned into a situation that put his life in danger. One of the biggest health risks for seniors is falling. This is true not only because it can hurt them right away, but also because it can make their health worse over time. A broken hip can keep you from moving for months, which weakens you, raises your risk of blood clots, and makes it more likely that you will get an infection. People over 65 who have a major fall often never get back to being completely independent. Even if they survive the initial injury, the problems that come up after it can be very bad. That being said, why does postural hypertension happen more often as people get older? It takes longer for our bodies to adjust our blood pressure when we stand up after sitting or lying down. The heart might not be able to pump blood as well, and being dehydrated, taking certain medicines, or having a health problem can make it even worse. Because of this, some elderly people feel fine while sitting but dizzy when they stand up. The worst part? It can happen out of the blue, and once it does, it can cause a chain reaction of health problems that are hard to get over. Don't ignore it if you've ever felt dizzy when you stand up. You can lower your risk by making simple changes to your lifestyle, like standing up slowly, drinking enough water, and checking any medications that may cause low blood pressure. But being aware is the most important thing. You can avoid the kind of fall that could change your life in an instant by spotting the warning signs early and taking care. Third, deep vein thrombosis and hidden blood clots. A lot of people think that blood clots only happen in very bad situations, like after surgery or a long stay in the hospital. Most people don't know this though, but blood clots can form quietly in the legs, and they often don't give any warning. When they break loose, they can travel to the lungs and cause a sudden, fatal pulmonary embolism. This is the reason why DVT is sometimes called a silent killer. Even though it comes on slowly, it can hit hard. Think about Harold, a 76-year-old man who likes to read for hours on end on his porch. He still does light gardening, runs errands, and goes for short walks. He doesn't think of himself as inactive, but one day after sitting in his recliner and watching TV all afternoon, he noticed that his calf was a little swollen. It wasn't painful, but it did look a little bigger. He didn't pay attention to it because he thought he had been sitting still for too long. After a few days, he was short of breath, but thought it was just a cold. Harold did not know that the swelling in his leg was due to a blood clot. When he passed out one night, it was because the clot had moved to his lungs. He had no idea it would happen. One scary thing about DVT is that it can happen to people who don't think they're not active. Sitting for long periods of time, like while watching TV, driving, or even sleeping, can make blood flow slower in the legs. This can lead to clots, which are often hard to notice. It doesn't look like an emergency. A little swelling, some pain, and a mild cramp in the calf. But if a clot breaks off and goes to the lungs, it can cut off oxygen in seconds, which can lead to sudden death or collapse. Older people are more likely to get hurt because their circulation naturally slows down with age. Diabetes, heart disease, and high blood pressure make things even worse. Some medicines, like those used to treat high blood pressure or cholesterol, can also make it harder for blood to clot. Dehydration, which is common in older people, also thickens the blood, which makes clots even more likely. When these things come together, what seems like a small problem becomes a deadly threat. Moving around a lot is the best way to avoid DVT. If you sit for a long time, get up and stretch every hour. Also, make sure to drink a lot of water to keep your blood moving. Compression socks can help, and you should see a doctor right away if you notice that your leg is constantly swollen, red, or warm. If you catch a blood clot early, it could mean the difference between a simple treatment and an emergency that could kill you. Let's talk about another risk that most people don't think about but is very dangerous. Fourth, infections that aren't found that cause sepsis. One of the most dangerous things for people over 70 isn't something big like a heart attack or stroke, but something much more sneaky. An infection that seems harmless at first but quickly turns into sepsis, a condition that can kill. Infections can cause the body to react very badly, causing widespread inflammation that can cause organ failure, shock, and sudden death. It is very dangerous because the symptoms often seem mild at first. So many seniors don't pay attention to them until it's too late. Consider Walter, an 81-year-old man who is proud of how rarely he needs to see a doctor. He notices one afternoon that he's having to go to the bathroom more often than usual and that it hurts a little. He thinks it's just part of getting older and drinks more water, hoping it will go away. But over the next few days, he starts to feel tired, a little lost, and cold even though it's warm outside. He has already got a blood infection by the time his family talks him into going to the hospital. Within hours, Walter's condition gets worse and his organs start to shut down, despite the best efforts of the doctor. Some common infections like urinary tract infections, UTI, pneumonia, or even a small skin wound can quickly get worse and turn into sepsis. This is especially true for older adults. With age, the immune system gets weaker, which makes it harder for the body to fight off sickness. What starts out as a simple urinary tract infection, UTI, or respiratory infection, can quickly become a full-body emergency if bacteria get into the bloodstream. Time is of the essence once sepsis sets in. The chance of dying goes up by 1 hour for every hour without treatment. It can be hard to tell if someone has early sepsis because their symptoms often look like normal ones, like being tired, having a mild fever, being confused, or feeling weak. These mild symptoms are often ignored by seniors because they think they are just feeling a little under the weather. What they don't realize is that they could be the body's way of warning them of a life-threatening infection. If you don't treat sepsis, your blood pressure could drop too low and shut down important organs like your heart, kidneys, and liver. People don't always get to the hospital in time because it gets worse so quickly. What are you going to do? It's important to pay attention to all infections, no matter how small they look. You shouldn't ignore it if you have a fever, chills, sudden confusion, or feel weakness. If home care for a simple infection doesn't help, see a doctor right away. Also, get to the hospital right away if you or someone you care about has signs of sepsis, like fast breathing, extreme tiredness, or a sudden drop in blood pressure. Fifth, not taking care of medications properly. A common mistake that people over 70 make every day is not taking their medications as prescribed. This is one of the most underrated risks of getting older. If you miss a pill, take the wrong dose, or mix medications that don't mix well, you could have a life-threatening reaction that ends in sudden heart attacks, strokes, or even fatal internal bleeding. What's the scary part? Many seniors don't realize they're at risk until a mistake has already been made. Consider someone like Helen, an 82-year-old who has been on blood pressure medication for years. She's careful about taking her pills every morning, but one evening after struggling with back pain, she takes an over-the-counter pain reliever without thinking twice. The next morning, she feels lightheaded and weak, but assumes she just needs to eat something. Later that day, she collapses. What she didn't know was that the pain reliever she took had a dangerous interaction with her blood thinner, causing internal bleeding that went unnoticed until it was too late. As we age, our bodies process medications differently. The liver and kidneys slow down, meaning drugs stay in the system longer, sometimes building up to toxic levels. Medications that seem harmless in younger years can have stronger effects, and mixing the wrong ones, even over-the-counter drugs or herbal supplements, can cause severe, even fatal consequences. Blood thinners, heart medications, and pain relievers are some of the most common culprits, but even something as simple as missing a dose of a heart or diabetes medication can send the body into shock. Another major issue is prescription overload. Many seniors take multiple medications for different conditions, and it's easy for things to get complicated. Some pills need to be taken on an empty stomach, others with food, some shouldn't be mixed, while others require precise timing. A simple scheduling mistake, like doubling a dose because you forgot whether you already took it, can cause a sudden drop in blood pressure, dangerously low blood sugar, or a fatal heart rhythm. So how can you protect yourself? First, always keep an updated list of all your medications, including supplements. If you see multiple doctors, make sure each one knows everything you're taking to avoid dangerous interactions. Use a pill organizer or set reminders so you never miss a dose or accidentally take too much. And before starting any new medication, whether it's prescription or over-the-counter, ask your doctor or pharmacist if it's safe to take with your current medications. Your health is too important to leave to chance. It's very important to stay informed and organized when it comes to medications because even one small mistake can have terrible effects. Let's move on now. Last thoughts. Now that you know about these 5 things that can cause sudden death after age 70, think about which ones could affect you or someone you care about. Most people don't realize how weak some parts of their health can get as they age, and the most dangerous threats are often the ones that aren't seen until it's too late. The good news is that becoming aware is the first step toward stopping it. You may have felt dizzy when you stood up from time to time, but didn't think much of it, or you may have ignored mild swelling in your leg because you thought it was just from sitting too long. These warning signs are easy to miss, but making small changes to your daily routines, like standing up slowly, drinking water, or making sure you move around often, can save your life. If you're taking medicine, one of the easiest and most effective things you can do to protect yourself is to double-check your dosages and interactions. Why did this video make you feel scared? It makes you feel stronger by teaching you about these risks, because knowing more about them gives you more control over your health. You can add years to your life by taking simple steps like knowing the signs of a silent heart attack, keeping an eye out for early signs of sepsis, or avoiding dangerous falls. Remember that being proactive about your health isn't just about staying safe. It's also about making sure you can keep enjoying life, spending time with loved ones, and doing the things that make you happy. Thanks for being here today. Please get in touch with us. Tell us what you learned today and how you're going to use it in your life in the comments below. We care about what you think, so don't be shy about telling us. We feel very motivated and encouraged when we read your comments. Please like, subscribe, and share this video if you liked it and found it useful. Thanks for your support. It lets us keep making good content for you to learn from and be inspired by. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.